Good evening. Once again, we hope tonight you'll be able to help solve some of Britain's most serious crimes. The investigating officers are with us live in the studio, hoping for perhaps just one vital call, which will provide the clue they need.
In this month's Crimewatch, we'll bring you up to date on cases you may have seen before. We've a haul of property, some of which might be yours, and we've 3 new reconstructions, but maybe you can help. Who was the killer cruising round a quiet Kent village? Who hijacked a family at gunpoint as they stopped to help out an accident in Essex? And who was the neatly dressed man who suddenly turned violent and raped a woman in Cambridgeshire?
Well, looking back over our reconstructions last month, we received well over 200 calls on the rape of a 17-year-old girl in Chiswick in West London. The majority of calls were about the attacker himself, either suggesting his whereabouts or putting a name to him. Police are still working through all the information they received. On the murder of John Green in Poole, there were far fewer calls, about 40 in all, but some very useful information has come out of them. You may remember police had received an anonymous letter from someone who'd seen 2 men harassing John Green outside his shop the day before he died. After our appeal, the writer of that letter contacted the police again, and he's helped them compile 2 artists' impressions. The first man is 5'9" or 5'10", in his early 20s. His hair was either dirty blonde or auburn with highlights. And the second man is 5'10" or 5'11", and older. He's about 40. A couple also came forward to say they too had seen this incident. So if you do recognise one or both of these men, and remember they were very possibly the last people to have seen John Green alive, then do please ring us here tonight. 081 811 8181 is the number. That's 081 811 8181. And remember, on any of our cases, you can speak to one of the detectives or a BBC researcher if you prefer.
Tonight's first case is strangely unsettling. It's like a killing from some second-rate Hollywood screenplay. And indeed, there is an American feature to the crime. Killers cruising round in what looked like a white Cadillac and shooting someone in cold blood. But in contrast to murders in the movies, the victim, Alan Leppard, had no criminal connections and no known enemies. And the setting was an English hamlet just a few yards up from the village pub. Alan's girlfriend, Brenda, has helped us to make this film, and you'll see her in an interview, though an actress takes her part in the reconstruction. It's 3 weeks before Easter at the pub in Monkton, not far from Ramsgate in Kent.
It was 6:15 approximately in the evening. I was just opening the pub. This gentleman walked in, attracted my attention.
Is Mr. Leppard in here?
Who?
Somebody told me he drank in here.
He had a gold bracelet on one wrist. There was a gold watch on the other wrist. Quite smartly dressed with a red tie on. Black swept-back hair, quite piercing eyes, square jaw, and lines sunk back from the nose into his face, around the mouth.
In fact, Alan Leppard lived 2 doors down from the pub. He'd moved to Monkton 4 months earlier with his girlfriend Brenda, and the couple were planning to get married. She'd been divorced for several years, but Alan was waiting for his divorce to be completed.
I spent so long, and I think he did, trying to find the right person, and we felt we'd found it. Alan was a very kind man. He was very gentle. He wasn't romantic in the sense that he'd bring flowers, but he never hid his feelings.
Oh, I've finished that digging. Do you fancy going down the pub later? Just for a quick drink?
I suppose we could, if you want to.
You're not very keen, are you? We don't have to go, you know.
It's just that it's so nice being on our own. Let's just stay in.
OK.
I was sitting in my lounge. It was about 8:30 with my mother. We were watching television. All of a sudden I heard a scuffle outside. I looked out the window and I saw some boys. They were arguing. Soon after that I noticed a big American car cruising up the road at very slow speed. But then it continued to go up and down the road, on and off for about the next couple of hours.
I was watching television. Alan had dropped off to sleep.
Alan, I think there's someone at the door. Well, shall I go and see who it is?
Yeah.
It was by our bedroom clock, just after 10 o'clock, but it was a bit fast. And I went to the bedroom window and I saw two people at the side of this large white car. And I turned the landing light on to go down to see who it was.
Don't know who it was, but they've gone. Still, if it's important, they'll come back later.
Around the same time, and just a few yards down the road, two holidaymakers from a nearby caravan park got a good view of the white car's driver. "20 minutes later, another witness saw the car still there.
Well, it was about 20 past 10. I was leaving my girlfriend's house, and there's a big white American car parked where I normally park my car. This man walked past the pub and got into the left-hand side, so I presume it's a left-hand drive car, and just drove off.
Then, for 25 minutes, the big car disappeared.
Sorry, but my mind's made up. I'm going back to London tonight.
I think about 22, quarter to 11. Somebody knocked at the door again.
You go this time.
And I went to the window again, and I said, it's the same people. And we both went downstairs.
Who is it? What do you want? Who is it?
He went out the door.
What the hell's all this about?
Then an almighty bang. And a scream. I went to go outside, and I got to the corner of the back of the cottage, and Alan came round the corner, and as he came towards me, he must have moved his hands, because I was absolutely covered in blood. And I started screaming. I think he said, "Get in." I think because he was worried for me. He was just a grey colour. And he was just going. And there was nothing I could do to stop him.
Nick Biddis, what was the motive? Why would somebody want to kill him?
We have a number of ideas about the motive, but there's nothing that we can really pin down at this stage.
But as far as you're concerned, he was a completely innocent victim.
That is correct. He's a completely innocent victim of a terrible crime.
I mean, it looks to some extent as though there might have been sort of professional killers hired, but I mean, they seem to be rather amateur professionals.
Well, they certainly do, yes.
And the Cadillac, or whatever it was that drew a lot of attention to them, was it a Cadillac? You're not exactly sure what it was.
We're not sure of the maker or model of the car. All I can say is a light-coloured, possibly white, large American-style saloon motor car.
So presumably you'd like to know anybody who had one of those white cars up to Easter.
We certainly
hasn't
would.
been driving it since.
That's right, and where it could be now. Perhaps scrap dealers or some scrapyard may have it, but anybody who's seen a car up until Easter and it's now disappeared, we'd like to hear from.
Not entirely sure whether there were two or three occupants. At one stage there seemed to be only one, but we've got a fairly good description of the white-haired or light-haired driver who was seen by the two people coming from the caravan
Yes, indeed
park.
we have. We have a man there who's believed in his late 40s, possibly about 5'7", sitting in the car, and the e-fit you've got.
And what about the guy who came into the White Stag pub a couple of weeks before the killing? I mean, presumably you need to eliminate this chap who might be perfectly innocent of the whole affair.
We would like to trace this man. He is a man who went into the pub about 3 weeks before, described as being 35 to 38 years of age, wearing a gold bracelet and gold watch. We'd very much like to trace that man and speak with him.
There's something else you need to eliminate, I know, because another white American car was seen not far away that same night.
There was about 11:10 on the same evening in the village of Minster, which is next door to Monkton. There was a similar car seen with 2 men getting into it in the New Inn car park, which is a pub in the centre of the village, and we'd very much like to trace those 2 men to see whether or not they can assist with this inquiry.
OK, I mean, you're almost certain this car had nothing to do with it and it needs to be eliminated.
We think we can eliminate that, but we'd like to hear from the people who were with it.
I'd mentioned the caravan park, the Fox Hunter Caravan Park. About 300 caravans, I think, were parked there. This is the Easter weekend, of course. Now, you've spoken to most people who were there that weekend, but I gather not everyone.
That's right. There are over 300 caravans on this site, and it was a very busy Easter weekend, quite nice weather, and we'd like to hear from anybody who so far we have not seen or hasn't spoken to us that may have been down during that weekend.
Can you promise them discretion?
Everything they give us will be treated in the strictest of confidence.
OK, there's a reward. I doubt that would be anybody's prime motive in this, but the family have put up a reward of £5,000. Here's the number if you can help. 081 811 8181. That's 081 811 8181. Or you can call the Murder Inquiry Room at Margate Police Station on 0843 22 5566. That's 0843, the code for Thanet, 22 5566.
Well, now some more news on progress since last month's programme. About 50 people called after we showed security film of 2 robberies at building societies in the northwest of England. Some of those callers gave the same name, and a man is in custody now awaiting trial on 3 charges of robbery.
You may remember police were hunting for the boyfriend of a 25-year-old woman who was murdered at her home in Middlesex. We showed 2 photos of the man, and police thought he might have gone to Europe. And indeed, that's how it seems to have turned out. A cruise liner called into the south of France, and when passports were routinely checked, one matched a list of people wanted here in Britain. And a man is now in prison in Antibes, awaiting extradition.
And as a result of photo call in our March programme, a man has given himself up to police. He'd been wanted in connection with a murder inquiry and is now in custody awaiting trial.
And now to this month's photo call. Here to take us through the pictures are Superintendent David Hatcher and DC Jackie Hames.
First, my colleagues in South Yorkshire urgently need your help to find this escaped prisoner. Last Thursday, Bernard Andrews overpowered a prison warder at knife point, allowing 7 others to escape with him. The prisoners were being taken by bus from Hull Prison to a court in Sheffield. 5 of the escapees have now been recaptured, but Bernard Andrews and 2 others are still at large. If you think you know where he is, please ring us, but don't on any account approach him as he may be armed.
This man attacked a jeweller in Luton, Bedfordshire, before his 2 accomplices ransacked the shop, taking several £1,000s worth of jewellery. Here they are coming into the shop on Saturday the 30th of March. This man grabbed the manager and squirted ammonia into his face. He's 5'8" and in his early 20s. The second man set about the display cabinets, grabbing whatever he could get his hands on. He's in his early 20s too, but taller at 6 foot, with his hair shaved short at the sides and back. The last man has helped himself to jewellery in the front cabinet. He's the same sort of age, early 20s, 5'10", with short black hair. We think this man and his friends may come from the London area. Please do ring if you know who they are.
Have you seen this man, Robert Douglas McLean, known to his friends as Fat Bob? He normally lives in Shanklin on the Isle of Wight. My colleagues there, dealing with inquiries into burglaries and extortion, would like to contact him. Robert McLean is 28, 5'8", and, as his nickname suggests, is rather overweight. He has tattoos on both arms. On the left, a Yorkshire rose, and the right bears the words Toff and Paris 85. Although he's lived on the Isle of Wight for the past 10 years, he comes from Manchester and still has a Mancunian accent. He also has friends and family in Ilkeston, Derbyshire, and Bournemouth on the south coast. If you know where he is now, ring us here.
Finally, can you help us identify this London robber? Here he is in the Alliance and Leicester Building Society in High Holborn, threatening staff with a gun. One by one, he menaced the cashiers who handed over more than £5,000. He's about 25, 5'6" to 5'8", and was suitably dressed for the city in shirt and tie. If you recognise him or any of our other photo call faces, please call us tonight.
On 081 811 8181. That's 081 811 8181.
The vast majority of attacks on women are carried out by someone they know or have met before. This was indeed the case when a 29-year-old woman, who we'll call Sally, was violently attacked 6 weeks ago. Sally is Scottish, but for the past 12 months she's been renting a bedsit in Peterborough to be near her brother and his family. Sally's attacker was a man she'd spoken to only briefly 2 months beforehand. On their second meeting, after befriending her and winning her trust and confidence, he attacked and raped her. So serious was the attack that police feel she's lucky to be alive. In the film we're about to show you, the actress who plays the part of Sally looks completely unlike her. And although Sally herself describes what happened, her voice and her identity have been disguised. Our reconstruction begins in the Westwood area of Peterborough. At the end of January, Sally called in at her local social security office to make an inquiry.
You'll need to fill this form in and send it back to us.
Oh, right.
Okay. Okay, thanks very much.
Okay.
Bye.
Hey, Hen, do you want to get a place to stay around here?
Oh, I don't really know, you know.
Just a bedsit or something, you know?
Well, you could always try my landlord's if you liked.
Ah, who's that?
Yeah, Mr. Clayton. He's got quite a few rooms, actually.
Mr. Clayton?
Yeah, well, I haven't got his number on me just now, but what you could do is you could go down to the housing advice on the Broadway. They'll give you his number and some more information.
Brilliant, cheers.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Bye.
Sally had no reason to think she would see the man again.
I moved down here about a year ago to Peterborough, and since then I haven't made very many friends. Maybe it's because I'm not working at the moment. And I do try and go out a lot, and maybe if I start going out a bit more, I'll make a few more friends.
It's now 2 months later in the centre of Peterborough.
Hey, Hen. Remember me?
Sorry.
Social? About 2 months ago.
No.
See, it was after a place to stay. You told me about your landlord. Remember?
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Right, I never called him, but I got myself fixed up with that housing advice bureau you told me about. Thanks very much.
That's good, no problem. Glad you got a place.
So, what are you at?
Nothing, I'm just waiting for a taxi. I called. It'll be here in a minute.
All right, where are you off to?
Look, I'm just popping into the pub for a quick drink on my way home.
Well, here, I'll give you a lift.
No, thanks all the same. Like I said, the taxi will be here in a minute, you know.
That's no problem. Save you the taxi fare.
I know how silly I was at the time, but I didn't think when I accepted the lift. He seemed all right to me. He called himself Robert, but he liked to be called Rob in the Scottish way for short.
It was about 9:15 when they reached the Locomotive pub.
There you go.
Great. Well, listen, thanks very much for the lift, Rob. I might bump into you again sometime.
Hey, wait a minute, I'll join you.
Oh, no, don't bother yourself. I'm all right. I'm just going in for a quick...
Get away, I can mutter a pint anyway.
Oh, all right then, if you want.
What are you after?
Oh, I'll have a vodka and lemonade, please.
Pint of lager and a vodka and lemonade, please.
I remember the Scottish couple coming in. I remember them because I know Sally. She's a fairly regular customer. The chap that was with her, he was tall, very obviously Scottish, Glaswegian accent. He had a black leather bomber jacket on, a light-coloured shirt and dark tie. I particularly noticed that he had dot tattoos on his knuckles. And they took their drinks from here and went up to the corner and sat down.
There you go.
Oh, thanks very much.
What you got there?
Oh, it said just a lighter I got for my friend's birthday. See if it has name engraved there.
What, is he a boyfriend?
Yeah, well, sort of. Yeah, I really like him. What about you? You got a girlfriend?
Been married once. 6 kids and all.
6?
Aye. Smoke?
I wasn't interested in the bloke at all. He really bored me. I did notice he smoked Benson & Hedges cigarettes, and also I think he had a ring on his finger. We were talking for about half an hour in the pub, and all I wanted to do was just go home and give my friend his lighter that I'd bought for his birthday.
She accepted his offer of a lift home.
you want to come back to mine for a cup of tea?
No, I just want to go home.
No. There's no way you're going home.
I thought he was joking with me, you know, just trying to frighten me and that. All I kept saying to him was, I just want to go home.
Please, just take me home, okay?
Instead of going straight on at the Brotherhood's roundabout, he turned left down onto the dual carriageway.
Where are we going? I just want to go home.
No. You're no going home.
He was driving quite fast down the road and I kept telling him to slow down, but he just laughed and kept going. Then I started noticing things in the car, like the seat covers were dark and there was a bag of tools behind the back of the chair. I started getting really scared, so I started talking to him to keep the conversation going. And he told me he'd done 2 years for a bank robbery. Also, he said his radio was broke. And I did notice that the car was red, definitely, and I think it had 4 doors. After about 6 miles, he pulled in at a truck stop, and I thought this would be my chance to jump out. But he was going up fast when he turned round, and he didn't stop. He just pulled straight back out again. He drove me to a farm truck where it was out in the middle of nowhere. He wouldn't stop punching me, and he tried to strangle me. He then raped me. And if anybody knows who this person is or thinks they know, can they please help?
Well, Mr. Rogers, whoever this man was, he started off by seeming very open and friendly, and then obviously we didn't show the details in the film, but then he turned quite suddenly and shockingly violent.
Yes, he did. She did suffer serious injuries. There's no doubt this could well have been a murder inquiry we're investigating here. She was subjected to a terrible ordeal over a 2-3 hour period, and I do feel that this man is so dangerous that he could well strike again.
Right, so there is some urgency in this case. He seemed to give a lot of personal details about himself. Do you think those details were true?
Well, we can't afford to ignore any of these details. I mean, he did impart this information at a time when they were socialising together in the pub, so we've every reason to believe that he probably did tell a lot of true facts about himself.
The main points we definitely do know about him: he was definitely Scottish, he was probably new to the area of Peterborough, he may or may not have been called Rob.
Yes, he definitely had a Glaswegian accent. It was the end of January that he was in Peterborough, so it's probable that he was a visitor to Peterborough, new to the city at that time, because that's where he asked her about the accommodation that he was looking for in Peterborough. So we do know a certain amount about him.
What about his clothing? What's his description like?
He was smartly dressed, and this is confirmed by the licensee of the pub: a black leather bomber jacket, collar and tie, and he had those very distinctive dots tattooed on the back of his knuckles, as well as other tattoos on the upper arms.
And the photo fit you have is quite a good likeness, I gather. You're quite pleased with that?
Yes, we are. We think this is an excellent likeness. He's described as 32 years old, 5'10", and very slim build.
Now, Sally herself isn't a driver, so she wasn't able to say what make the car is. How much do you know about the car?
Well, we do know that it was a red saloon car, probably 4 doors, and she described it as having a dark interior. We know there was a bag of tools behind the seat. We also know that he told her that the radio was broken, and we also know that it did drive into that picnic area on the A47 near Wansford, which is called a truck stop. And although they drove out of there fairly quickly, there probably was a lot of truckers parked there overnight, so it may well be that they were noticed.
Right, and a reminder, if you think you may have seen that car, the date was Wednesday the 27th of March, that's just before the Easter weekend, and it was, do you think, sometime between 10:30 and 11:30 that night?
Yes, it probably was.
In fact, you actually have quite a lot of information to put together about this man.
Yes, we do. We've got so much information about him, so many probable facts which should identify him. We know a certain amount about his car as well, and I do feel that there must be somebody that can give us some more information to help us track him down, or indeed knows who he is. And if you do know who he is, I mean, please ring us and we'll treat your calls in the strictest of confidence.
Well, Mr. Rogers, thank you very much. If there's anything at all you think you can offer to help to find this man, bear in mind that Detective Chief Inspector Rogers does believe he's likely to attack other people like this, then please do ring us. He may, of course, have left the Peterborough area by now and be in another city. The number to ring is 081 811 8181, or the number direct to the Peterborough headquarters is 0733 63232. That's 0733, the code for Peterborough, 63232.
It's a very useful response so far. On the Luton jewellery raid, a name has been given for one of the robbers. On the murder of Alan Leppard in Monkton in Kent, if you've been trying to get through to the local incident room at Thanet, please be patient. They've only got 8 lines up tonight. Mark, that's quite a lot, but they've been busy most of the time, and they're busy right now. So do be patient, or of course you can call us here. Of the information that's coming in on that, there have been several sightings of that white car at around the time of the murder in Kent, and particularly around a hotel in Hythe, which obviously is going to need looking into. And several people have given names for the video fits in the Monkton murder, the murder of Alan Leppard. Well, now some brief appeals directly from the police themselves. Here with this month's incident desk are Detective Constable Jackie Hames and Superintendent David Hatcher.
Good evening. We start with an urgent appeal on a case that's had relatively little national publicity. It's about Jo Ramsden. Jo is 21, but because she has Down syndrome, in terms of understanding, she's a young and vulnerable child. If she's been taken somewhere or wandered off, she must be very confused, frightened, and totally unable to cope with her situation. The local community in our hometown of Bridport, Dorset, know her well and have pulled together in an effort to find her. Teams of volunteers and the Army have made extensive searches of the area, but we still have no clue where she is. Jo disappeared a month ago today, on Tuesday the 9th of April, with only 80p in her pocket. She's 5'1", of athletic build, with short brown hair. She was wearing clothes like these, and she was carrying a Liverpool boot bag like this one. During the afternoon, she was spotted several times in South Street, Bridport. She has difficulty crossing the road on her own, and so it wasn't unusual to see her crossing with the help of a man at about 20 to 2. He's been described as 5'5", mid-20s to mid-30s, with short fair hair. He was wearing a brightly coloured jumper. We know he was holding her hand as they crossed the road, and we'd like him to contact us in case she said where she was going, because at 4:30 she was seen on her own at the junction of Skilling Hill Road and South Street. That was the last time anyone saw her. If you know where she is now or have seen her in the last month, please contact us. The people of Bridport will not rest easy until Jo is safely back home.
We badly need your help tonight to find this man. He's already assaulted 3 women in Bristol, all violent sexual attacks. He's between 20 and 25, about 5'10", with dark hair, and has a West Country accent, so he may well be a local man. He wore a brown leather bomber jacket with jeans with a knife-edge crease. We also need to find a man who saved one of the women from her ordeal. If you remember shouting from Hanbury Road, Clifton, at a couple struggling in the gardens, do please ring us. It was about 10:10 on Thursday the 14th of March. Your shout scared off the attacker. You may not have realised that the little you saw may well give officers the vital help they need. All 3 of his attacks happened in Clifton, the student area of Bristol. If you know who he is, ring us now.
If either of these belong to you, the Central London Drug Squad would like to know. Cleaners at a London hotel found them in an empty bedroom. They were full of cocaine, worth well over £1 million on the street. Staff checked records and found the room was let to a Mr. Terry Shaw, who'd arrived the night before and paid cash for his stay, giving an address in Liverpool. But, like his name, that too turned out to be false. And here he is checking in at the front desk with his large suitcase. We think the briefcase full of cocaine is inside it. He goes off to his room and 4 minutes later is seen leaving empty-handed. But don't worry, we wouldn't ask you to identify him from these pictures alone. Hotel staff have compiled this picture. He's about 20 to 25 and had pock-marked skin. He spoke with a Liverpool accent. The cases are distinctive too. This one has a chalk mark and the figures 315 on the side. And this expensive leather briefcase has this unusual fish logo stamped on it. If you'd like to claim either of these cases, or you recognise this man, please call us now.
My colleagues in Greater Manchester need your help to find this man, Frank Embury. They believe he may be able to assist them with their investigation into a number of offences involving children. He's 59, 5'7", medium build with brown hair. He wears glasses and often a hat. His last known addresses were in Manchester and Prestatyn, North Wales, but he could be anywhere in the country by now, perhaps working as an electrician, possibly in the television industry. If you know Frank Embury or have any information about his whereabouts, please call us now.
And finally, if you were at Wimbledon Station in London last Saturday night, that's Bank Holiday Saturday, you may be able to help solve the callous murder of 39-year-old James Dolan. Mr. Dolan, of no fixed address, was drinking cans of beer with a couple of friends outside the station between 8:30 and 9:40 p.m. when he was set upon by two men. They punched and kicked him with such severity that he died in hospital of his injuries just a few hours later. There were hundreds of people on Wimbledon Station that night, and we want to hear from anyone who witnessed the attack. In particular, we need to trace a taxi driver who was parked nearby. Part of the registration of his black cab is known. It has a C prefix and CYY at the end. It also has an advertisement for the opera Tosca on its door. If that was you, please do ring. You may have caught sight of the two men who attacked Mr. Dolan. They're both white, between 25 and 30. One is about 5'9" tall, stocky build with black hair. He was wearing a grey casual jacket. The other man is taller, medium build hair, possibly wearing a brown knee-length overcoat. Please do ring if you saw them anywhere on the station. Remember, that was at Wimbledon last Saturday between 8:30 and 9:40 p.m. If you can help with this or any of our other incident desk cases, please do ring us now.
And the number once again, 081 811 8181. That's 081 811 8181.
Next, a crime which overtook a family on an outing to the shops. Two grandparents, a mother and her children aged 2 and 4. They stopped to help out at an accident and found themselves confronted by 3 gunmen. You'll hear their voices, but because of their ordeal, obviously we've not asked them to take part in our reconstruction. We've used actors in their place. But maybe you can help to find the gunmen who attacked them. Men who were fleeing from a robbery in which they'd already threatened and assaulted people. Our reconstruction starts near Harold Wood in Essex on the morning of Friday the 15th of March.
Just a bit further down here, Dad, and then turn left.
Right, love.
I'm nearly there. Stop pestering Grandma. Won't long. Tell you what, let's say I spy.
Church Road in Harold Wood is a residential street, but just behind the houses is Bates Road Industrial Estate. It's 9:10 and the day's business is now well underway. As the guard was being threatened, an initial laundry van pulled alongside. The Securicorps vehicle was hijacked and both the guards were punched and kicked and warned they might be shot. The 2 vans were driven out of Bates Road, along Church Road and into an adjacent industrial estate, a journey of no more than a couple of 100 yards. Both vans were then abandoned, with the guards left handcuffed on the floor. The robbers drove off with several £1,000s and were next seen by a local woman on Shepherd's Hill, about a mile away.
I was driving towards Hornchurch that morning. I heard a car coming up the hill the other way, very, very fast. As I got to the top of the hill, it was rather on my side of the road than its own side of the road, so I slowed down because I really thought the car was going to hit me.
Quick, Dad, stop. Let's see if we can help.
As I got to the scene, a man came out and pushed me.
Anyone else left in the car?
going on? Oh! What are you doing? Are you all right?
I thought that he was pushing me because the car was going to explode.
What do you think you're doing?
We're taking the car.
No, you're not. Piss off! No, you're... Piss off or I'll blast you!
The man that threatened me was quite a big, heavy boy, maybe about 5'10", 5'11". Biggish, round face, more or less. Most of the time, I was just looking at the gun.
Come on! Get out the car! Get out the car!
The man that threatened me was a bit smaller than the other man, quite thick set.
I'm not leaving the children! We're taking the car! Come on, get out! I'm not leaving the children! Go, go, go! Come on!
And my oldest daughter was trying to get out. She was strapped in the seatbelt. She was screaming, "Mummy, Mummy." And I was saying, "It's all right, I'm not letting you go." And I got her in my arms just as they turned and sped off. But a few seconds more and she would have gone with them. My two little ones reacted really badly to it. They're waking up having dreams about men with guns. But it'll be a long while for the scars to heal. Very long while.
Patrick, how are the family?
Nick, they're not well. The kids haven't settled down at all. They're still having nightmares. The mother is not well at all, and Granny, she hasn't gone back to work yet.
Well, we know that the family's car was driven to a lay-by in Tompkins Lane, where the men transferred into a waiting Sherpa van. Looking for witnesses, more witnesses for this. We know from that point they drove in the direction of the busy South End arterial road, that's the A127. And maybe you saw them that morning trying to get out of the side road onto the dual carriageway. This is Friday the 15th of March, remember, at about 9:30 in the morning. The Sherpa van was found abandoned a few miles away in Saxon House Industrial Estate, that's in Great Whalley. And there was blood in the van when you discovered it, which suggests that the chap we saw holding his head as he came out of the crash car, the overturned car, had really hurt himself.
Yes, obviously we're appealing to anybody who saw somebody covered in blood on the 15th. Has anybody given first aid to that man, a nurse, a doctor, or even a hospital that we haven't established so far?
Or has anyone come home with a gash in his
Yes, has a neighbour
his head?
seen somebody coming home with covered in blood?
What do we know about that? You've got a description of him.
Yes, he's a big man. He's 25 to 30 years of age, about 6 foot. Well built, maybe into weightlifting. Obviously kept himself extremely fit to survive the accident.
And what about the other two? First, the man who was pointing the pistol at Grandad.
Yes, he's at the same age, 25 to 30, as the man covered in blood. He's a little bit smaller, still well built, and again maybe into weightlifting or training with weights.
And the man who aimed the shotgun at the children?
Yes, he's a bit smaller in height, 5'8" to 5'10", with dark hair, not quite as big as the other two.
Now, obviously you want more witnesses to the hijack or anything else that took place there. I gather you also want to speak to one witness who's already talked to you.
Yes, obviously officers arrived at the scene, and I believe it was a farmer who actually gave his details of what he saw to the police officers. His name has been misplaced, so we'd be keen to ask the farmer to come forward.
OK. All the vehicles were stolen, I think, in the Chelmsford or Witham area of Essex.
That's right. Yes, 2 from Chelmsford and 1 from Witham. Only 1 was false plated, so we're asking where was the initial van laid down overnight for a couple of days, and where was the BMW that was only stolen a couple of days as well. Where was that laid down? The Sherpa had the plates changed.
And I gather that the family are really desperate that these people are caught.
I spoke to the mother only this afternoon. She'd be the happiest woman in the world, the same as I would be, if I could ring her up in a couple of weeks' time and say, "Sharon, we've got them."
It's still a great trauma for them.
Yes, very much so.
Well, please do help if you can. We want to find those gunmen as quickly as possible. Here's the number, 081 811 8181. Or you can call the North East London Flying Squad, another 081 number. That's 558 7311. That's 081 558 7311.
And now our Aladdin's Cave of property comes this month from police in North Yorkshire, but it may have come from burglaries anywhere in the British Isles. From matchbox cases to card tables, perhaps something there belongs to you. Over on the other side of the studio now, Eric Knowles has been picking out 1 or 2 of his favourites.
Thank you, Sue. Well, before the arrival of my 2 small children, I have to admit I was something of a television addict. Had I been around in 1860, I'd probably find myself looking at an object like this. If I give it a quick twist, all is revealed. It's a Victorian games table. Just look at the quality. lovely burr walnut veneer, nice stringing, and 2 lovely rosettes in each corner. During the 19th century, well, the British, well, they certainly ruled the waves. And here's a painting. It's a watercolour by F. Powell. 3 British men of war. I think there's a town of Dover in the background, but if we can change tack, let's move to China. Here's a carved bone pagoda. It dates from around about 1860, and it's in its original travelling case. Now, I do like furniture which is functional, and here's a lovely Georgian bachelor's chest. Nice feathered mahogany, probably around about 1800, maybe 1790. And here's a character, whether he's a bachelor or not, I don't know, but he doesn't lack confidence, playing a guitar there, a guitar strap that reads, "My song is my future," or should I say my fortune, rather. Now, on an Antiques Roadshow, we see hundreds of this type of vase, but I must admit, I've never seen a set of Bohemian glass vases, which date from about 1860, 1890, decorated with chicks. Possibly the sort of thing that you might bring out at Easter. But come and have a look at this little chick. A delight in carved ivory. Japanese, Meiji period. I feel like I should stroke him. Meiji period, by the way, is a sort of posh term given by connoisseurs for turn of the century. Now, you could be forgiven for thinking that the pipe in this cabinet there is also carved ivory. In fact, it's carved meerschaum clay, and behind it a whole collection of pipes, mainly cherry wood, which date from around about 1880, 1920. And so too, no self-respecting smoker would be without his Vesta case. We've got a whole selection of Vesta cases, about the same date, a few cigarette cases too. But have a look at this little pencil. Aspreys, it's gold, and it's inscribed "From Towser to George, October 1922. Now, if music be the food of love, then this little cherub of a cellist can play on and on. He's continental, and he dates from about 1860. I do wish antiques could talk to me, but if they did, I'd probably be out of a job. But take this little chair, for example, a child's chair, a Windsor type, early 19th century. Just think of the little children that sat of that over the years. Perhaps a little child such as this one that features in this Tyrolean oil painting. Now, she's obviously the apple of her grandfather's eye. The question is, was she at one time the apple of your eye?
And if you did recognise anything there of yours, here's the number to ring, 081 811 8181. The phone lines here in the studio are open till midnight tonight, in fact, or you can find all the numbers for the individual police forces on CFAX, page 618, if you have that. We're getting quite a few calls through in at the moment. Particularly interesting are some calls on the case of the woman who was raped in Peterborough. We've had 2 possible sightings of the attacker, and one particularly interesting one. A policeman thinks he recognises the rapist, so we'll be following that one up.
We've got another police officer, incidentally, calling about the loot and jewellery raid, who thinks that he recognises one of the robbers as local to Harlesden in North London. So if anyone else makes that connection, do please call us. Bernard Andrews, the escaped prisoner, a caller, thinks he's seen him too, and a lot of calls on the murder of Alan Leppard. We'll keep you up to date with those. We hope we'll have more to tell you, indeed, when we come back on the air in about an hour's time. That's Crimewatch Update at 11:20. If you can't stay up till then, do bear in mind, we've condensed together isolated incidents that happened over many weeks and were scattered right across the country. So don't have nightmares, do please sleep well. Good night.
Good night.